new trigger is so much nicer than the other trigger. I think that trigger just had issues right from the factory.
I'm Tim Walling with SC Legal Carry. We train people to get a CWP in the state of South Carolina. If you need a concealed weapons permit, please look us up online at sclegalcarry.com. What we came to the range to show you today is the Ruger 5.7. And let's go ahead and pull this magazine out of this gun and let's safety check this firearm. There's no round in the chamber. Hammer down. The Ruger 5.7. This is not a new firearm. This firearm came out in 2019. This firearm, it sells for around $750 to $800. I actually got a really good deal on this, and so I just couldn't pass it up for all the features that it comes with. It comes with two 20-round magazines, fiber sights on it. It's got adjustable rear sights on the gun. It is already tapped for a plate and an optic to go on this firearm. So we are going to start with the iron sights. I have a plate and I have a Romeo 0, and we're going to stick it on here. It does have a thumb safety on the firearm. The thumb safety is textured across the top there. It's cut so that you can get a little traction on it when you pop the safety on and off. The safety is ambidextrous if you're left-handed. The slide release is only on the left side of the firearm, so it's for a right-handed shooter. But lefties always work around that. This thing has almost a 5-inch barrel on it. It's right at 26 ounces when loaded with 20 rounds of ammunition. The 5.7, it looks like a 223 or 5.56 round, just a really small one. And really nice magazine in this thing. This thing comes with metal magazines in it. And these are F&H ammunition. This stuff is really hard to find. That's probably why I got such a good deal on this gun. I was able to locate a couple of boxes of it. I wish I could have got the Eagle ammo. It's half price, but the ammunition will come back around and you'll be able to find the Eagle ammo again for this firearm. There is a Picatinny rail on this gun so you can mount lights and different accessories on it. It is cut on the top so that the blowback pushes the muzzle down on the firearm when you shoot it. Now the grip on this gun, there's nice texturing on the grip on this firearm. They did a really nice job with that. So when you grab it, you can just hang on to it really nice. The way the grip is designed, it's a little wider than your average gun, but it is still thinner this way. And it just fits your hand, feels really good in your hand. It's got a large tang on the firearm here, so that when you grab the firearm, you can really get your hand up in there tight. You're not going to have to worry about slide bite from this firearm at all. The only thing that I would say is dropping the slide release here. It's a little difficult for me to get around the safety to get to the slide release on this thing. So I'm going to go here to drop the slide on the firearm. Taking the gun down is relatively easy. You would slide lock it back, take your magazine, push this button in, flip down, and it comes right apart, just like most semi-automatic pistols do today. All right, so we have a round in it. Our safety is off. Now let's just see how we do with our first shots here. Safety is on. Almost no recoil in this gun. Very comfortable gun to shoot. If you have issues with your hands or wrists and have a problem firing guns, this would be a really nice gun to shoot. I'm actually kind of shocked at how low the recoil is, especially since that round is leaving from this firearm at about 2,000 lineal feet per second. Could even get up to 2,300 lineal feet per second. It's a great firearm for hunting small animals. If you're heading out, you can make those distance shots with this thing. Safety's on. See how close we're getting there. So we're staying in the red now. We are clear. Let me show you guys the trigger on this gun. So there is some take up in that trigger. Now, watch as I squeeze the trigger. I'm going to apply pressure. You see how far that trigger moves before it actually breaks? Reset it and it is really soft. Now, all that sponginess right there, that is what's making it a little bit difficult to fire the gun. But all I needed was a few minutes of working the trigger to actually get it on target. So you see all the creep in that trigger, how far it goes down before it breaks. So you've got to find your sights, hold it in place, continue to squeeze that trigger, and just let it break on its own. So let's shoot some of the steel with it and see how that goes. We're gonna go back a little bit further to shoot that steel though. And we are clear. Slide, trigger, and safety. Nice gun to fire, nice and smooth. Lightweight, 20 rounds of ammo in it at 26 ounces. That's not a very heavy firearm compared to other guns that people carry. Is it a good self-defense gun? Does have a lot of ammo in it. It is moving very fast. I'm not sure that I would carry this for a concealed carry gun. I feel like this thing is moving too fast and getting out there too far away from you. Concealed carry firearms are generally used for up close and personal things that happen, and I just think this thing's got too much muzzle velocity coming off of it for that. But super nice gun, feels good in the hand. Just took me a minute to get used to the trigger on it. So let's drop an optic on here real quick and test that. The optic plate that I got. I ordered this off of Amazon and I paid $26 for it. So now that we got them both tight, we're just going to give it a little turn and a little turn. So we got approximately 12 inch-pounds of pressure on that plate holding it down. There we go. Got it mounted on the firearm. Okay, we're gonna have to pick another optic to go on this. Now, I had to go back and really crank down on these screws. I was really nervous putting that kind of pressure on them. But the optic, all the pressure's here, and the optic is actually, if you guys can see this, is actually lifting up. Do you see it lifting up off the front of the firearm? So if I squeeze down hard, I make good contact with the battery and the optic turns on. As soon as I let go of it, it gets real dim and turns back off because I don't have enough pressure up here to hold the front of the optic down because the battery's making contact with the bottom of the optic and with the top of the mounting plate on there. So this optic is not going to function properly on this gun. If you can see, this thing is wiggling left and right and going up and down on that firearm. So we're going to have to get another optic to go on this firearm. So the Sig Romeo is not going to work on the Ruger 5.7 pistol. That stinks. Now we got to go get another one and hopefully it's going to fit. Hey guys, so we're back at the range again today. Now, we made some alterations to this Ruger 5.7. We changed out the Romeo Zero and we put the shield on here. It fit on here really nice, fairly easy to go on. It's nice and stable, pulls down tight, not having the same issue I was having with the Romeo Zero. This shield seems to be doing fine. The problem I'm having now is, there we go, and let you look. Maybe you guys can see. You guys can see right inside there, look where the hammer is. Watch when I squeeze the trigger here. Fired that time. All right. There, and that time it didn't do it. All right. So the hammer's not dropping all the time. The hammer's hanging up and staying back. I'm gonna try to shoot it though, okay? So I've got the thing set. I set it at 25 yards and I went back 35 yards, tried to zero it in, tweak it just a little bit more. And we got some bowling pins set up down here. And we're gonna go back to 50 yards and we're gonna try to shoot those bowling pins down if we can make this trigger function. After we get through with it today though, we'll be contacting Ruger and I guess sending this thing back. You know, it's odd though, that was gonna be my one complaint about this gun. This seems to be a really good gun and a good platform. It's really fun to shoot, no recoil. So if you don't like recoil on guns, this would be great for you. But the trigger, it's just not a really good trigger. Look at all the slop. Look at all the slop in the trigger. And then when you squeeze it, look how far it moves, how mushy it is. And the reset in it, really soft reset. Then you got the take up. Now you got all that mush. It just keeps mushing before it breaks. If Ruger would put a nice crisp trigger in here that would snap and break when you apply pressure to it, it would make a huge difference in this firearm and how it functions and the accuracy of it. But for some reason, they've gone with this really mushy trigger in the gun. I'm sure somebody's probably already taken care of that, and there's probably a nicer upgrade you can get for the trigger. We have no idea why this thing is not functioning or working. We're gonna try to make it work for you. We actually went back to 60 yards and we're checking it to make sure we're at 60 yards here. It looks like the trigger's set, so let's give this a shot and see how we do. Fired and a miss. And trigger did not reset again. All right, rounds out. Well, at least we're finding out if I'm flinching when I pull the trigger, right? Let's try taking the magazine out one time. Oh, no, that just stinks, doesn't it? Don't have but a couple rounds in here, just in case we had a runaway trigger on this thing. We didn't want to get anybody hurt with it. But we are the only ones at the range, so we have a close range. So let's shift this thing back to Ruger, see if Ruger can fix this trigger for me. And I'll keep you guys posted on it. Was fun while I got to shoot it though. And we're back. So last time we did some really good flinch testing, right? Remember our trigger broke on our 5.7. The trigger broke, it was Thursday evening. I emailed my salesman at Davidson Thursday night, let him know the trigger broke. He contacted me first thing Friday morning. He dropped one of these back in the mail. They have a 100% replacement guarantee on them. Monday morning, I got the new 5.7 in the mail. So we switched everything out on it and we're gonna test it again, okay? So we're at about 60 yards here. Let's take a quick peek at the new trigger. The new trigger is so much nicer than the other trigger. I think that trigger just had issues right from the factory. This one is not as mushy, doesn't have as much creep in it. When you squeeze the trigger, it breaks a whole lot better. So let's see how it does in action. Did we hit the steel? It's so loud I can't even tell. I tell you what, let's put 3 on a target, and then we're gonna go to the iron sights and put 3 on a target. Took the optic off, we're back to the iron sights. Quick tip for everybody. When you go to reassemble this thing and you flip this lever to the side, watch this barrel here. See how much movement I've got in that barrel? If that barrel is forward here, you cannot turn this to reseat. You cannot turn it to relock the firearm. Push it back a little bit, flips right into place. Just a quick tip for you. Save you a lot of frustration when you go to put this thing back together after you break it apart. Let's try the iron sights. Let's go to the far left target for this. Trigger is way nicer on this gun than the other gun.
This is a nice gun. They just did a great job when they built this thing. This thing feels good in your hand. The safety's in a great place, easy to operate, breakdown's easy, cleaning's easy. It was really simple to install the optic on this. The optic works out really well on it. I think Lance is gonna enjoy this gun. Lance is doing some trapping. This thing will work out nice on his hip while he's down in the woods trapping. 20 rounds, 5.7 by 28. Pretty nice to have with you in the woods. Have fun with it, Lance. Remember, guys, be a responsible adult. Don't push your responsibility as an adult off onto a child. Buy gun locks, secure your firearm. I forgot to bring my camera, so I'm using the camera on the phone to complete this video, folks, but I'm getting out of this heat. It's burning up out here.